Welcome to Three Things. Tonight's guest is the co-host of the Blackheart Gold Pants Spoko radio podcast, which in an earlier incarnation talked Chicago sports and now talks strictly Iowa Hawkeye sports with Dave Cray and Jerry Sherwin, whom I still owe all of them a night of drinks over a Bears season win total bet. He's a White Sox superfan as well as one of your friendly neighborhood beer vendors at Sox Park and other Chicago arenas. Passionate, opinionated, and always willing to tell you to simmer down a bit. I want to welcome to the stage Shy People's champ himself, Dave Johnson, to Three Things. Champ, how the hell are you, my friend?
Man, that was the best fucking intro I've ever gotten in my life. Can you tell my other two guys that the podcast that I do with them they can just do that as their intro? I mean, that way to make a guy feel great. I mean, my Lord, that was awesome. How you guys doing?
We're good. I don't think Cray has the enthusiasm to pull off that. And
that's true.
Jerry does, but he'd tell you to fuck off before he got all the way through all that stuff.
I mean,
so I don't think it's gonna work. You know.
Also very true. I mean, Jerry does like to tell me to fuck off a lot. We do get into some heated discussions, but that's all right. It's all love.
How many are there? How many of the discussions are involving the Undertaker, and if he's come back again, and if it counts towards his total in WrestleMania or whatever the fuck?
Well, we don't really argue over The Undertaker because we're both big Undertaker fans, so that is not a lot of our arguments. But Jared does like to try to involve wrestling whenever he can during our podcasts, which is fine. As you can tell, I'm wearing my Ric Flair shirt tonight, my Woo shirt, so I'm all about that. I'm ready to roll with any sort of wrestling talk that he wants to bring up.
I got a special shirt for you, Dave.
Oh, jeez. Here comes the Illini shit.
The Illini 108 shirt.
I mean, Beeflo with the respectful Hawkeye color 108 shirt. I got to love it. And then we got the Illini crap over here with my
Just sitting here with my buddy Chief Illini Wick.
Oh, there he
No
is.
Big deal.
There he is.
Just hanging out.
Hang on, my Sox Summer. Let me get a better look at that right there. Okay, that looks good. All right, champ. Well, this is Three Things. So that was thing number one. We bring you in. We tell you some nice things about you. My Sox Summer talks some shit inadvertently. And thing number two is you bring a question for the group to discuss.
All right, so my question, if you've ever listened to my show, you know I like to ask multiple part questions. So mine is one question, but it has a couple parts in it. So as you said with that beautiful intro, I along with two of my good friends, Dave Cray and Jerome, host a Iowa Hawkeyes podcast. We talk Iowa Hawkeye sports, everything from basketball, football. Hell, we even throw in a little women's basketball sometimes too. Why not? So my question for you guys is, we know my Sox Summer here is a fucking Illini fan. But what college do you guys root for? I know, Beeflo, if your wife is a Hawkeye alum, so that might influence your answer. But what college program are you guys rooting for nowadays, or have you rooted for over your life?
So I could go first because I think my answers are kind of all over the place because so I went to DePaul. So I do root for DePaul basketball. We've talked about this a bit. When I was there, they had Q, so it was good for a year.
Yeah.
We knew that was only going to last a year. It hasn't been good since. It was okay, a few years there. But once they went to the Big East, it was a total shit show. So I kind of keep track of them, but it's more like, have they won?
They beat the Hawkeyes this year in basketball. That was a huge win for them. And then all of a sudden, they realized that Dave Lato was still their coach and that they would suck again. Because what is with Dave Lato? Does he have like pictures of the AD or something? They just keep bringing him back. I don't understand.
They're terrible and they extend him.
It's just unbelievable.
It happens.
They need to go back to paying for players. That was an era. I feel like there's DePaul grads out. Like every time I get the alumni newsletter, someone's doing something fantastic. Can that person pay for some fucking players?
Yeah, exactly.
But and then for football, like I don't have a college football team. I primarily watch games where I know it's going to be arena league style and there's going to be like 1,000 points. And I'll usually go and look in the morning and see where there's a good line, where there's like a high total, like 75 or 80
So
points.
It sounds like you're watching a lot of Big 12 football.
Big 12.
There's no defense in the Big 12.
And for for like I use Hulu now. I had Sling before, but those all have like the Fox Sports stations for college football. So you always get Big 12. So it's easy to find. They score like every 4 seconds.
It's insane.
Betting the over. It's a lot of fun. That's all I do for college football.
I mean, that sounds like fun. Life's too short to bet the under, so you might as well bet the over and enjoy it.
For me, obviously, it's already been stated. For football, I follow the Hawkeyes. My wife went to Iowa, and so that's the only team that I pretty much watch all their games. And so I really keep a close eye on you and Dave and Jerry on Twitter during those games to make sure that what I think I'm seeing, I actually am seeing. Because I'm not like the biggest into football, but I used to be more into it, like when I was a little younger, when the Bears were actually really good. So it's definitely Iowa, and it's the only one that I have any sort of rooting interest in. So the calendar is marked. Okay, the game's at 2:30. We're going to kind of build the day around that. In basketball, I don't have an allegiance to any team, but generally I like certain head coaches. And Bob Huggins, Huggy, I love
Huggy with
Huggy
the
team.
I mean, with the jackets, I love Huggy's great. He's one of my favorites too.
He's like in Vegas. He passes out and falls through a glass coffee table. You know, like that. That's my kind of. That's a beef loaf kind of guy. Like I love Jerry Tarkanian back in the day. Any guy who got all messed up on cocaine, he'd bring him in. He's like, I will give this guy his 8th chance. Everyone deserves an 8th chance. And that's, a guy like Tark. I really like that coach like that. And I also like John Calipari because I like a guy who unabashedly is basically just saying, give me all the guys that are going to be professionals because this is how we play the game in college basketball now. And all these old school coaches are clinging on to the belittling the players and trying to keep them to stay more years. And Calipari's like, fuck it. This is NBA training course right here. You come here for your year, and if you're great, go ahead, go to the NBA.
I mean, they know. I mean, these athletes love it, too. They love playing for Coach Cal. I mean, you hear all these guys. He's got half the fucking NBA because they all went to Kentucky. I mean, they all continuously talk how great he is, what a great guy is. And this is what college basketball is now. You're exactly right. You go in, you get your year or two of service. Most of the time with Kentucky, it's a year, and you go right to the league because that's all what they want to do anyway.
I admit I liked it better when the kids would stay for 4 years because you'd build up some really good teams. But I kind of like as someone who was a casual fan and only watches the tournament, I like the high variance of it now because now you got all these young kids, and then the mid-majors got the kids that have been there for a while. So they become a little more even matches than they might have used to been. The big programs really used to ride it. Now you see weird shit, George Mason or Loyola Chicago go to the Final Four. I love that shit.
Yeah, that was crazy. That Loyola, that fucking was nuts. They should have lost their first game and then they go to the Final Four. Jesus. All right, go ahead, my sock Summer. We all know what the fuck you're going to say, but go ahead.
Now, hold on. I got some friends here that want to say hi. Oh, look, it's Luther Head. He wants to say hi, Dave. From the 2005 Flying Illini. Wait a second. Oh, my God, he brought Roger Powell with him, too. Look, he's right here.
Oh, didn't they call him the Reverend or something, Roger Powell?
Yeah, the Rev. Yep. And got Darren Williams. He's saying, what's up?
Oh, hey,
remember me?
What's going on?
James Augustine's in the house.
Oh, James.
And everyone's favorite jersey popper, D. Brown.
See, I noticed you got a lot of guys from one team. What the fuck have they done since that season?
Now, hey, man. I'll say this, I will go off a little off script here and just say that I really, really wanted to see Game 3 of Iowa-Illinois this year in basketball.
Cheers to that. That would have been fun.
I feel like we would have finally seen a refereed game on a somewhat of a neutral court, and it would have been fun. It would have been good for the kids too. Finally, that Illinois is back.
Referees. I mean, give me
it's on both ends. Both ends.
No, I said you motherfuckers.
So, no, I don't really follow much of Illinois sports programs outside of basketball. It's mostly just basketball.
I mean, why would you follow their football team there?
The football team is horrible. I went to NIU.
Though, you know?
Well, yeah, there you go. Whatever. I feel like I can't start now. Like I'm an NIU guy when it comes to football. They've had the most success pretty much in the state, other than maybe Northwestern. I don't know. Don't really pay attention. So, but NIU has just been the team that I will actually watch play football when they get out there. So,
The Huskies. I mean, they had a little couple-year run where they played Iowa. I was at a game, actually, when they played them at Soldier Field. I don't remember much about that day because I was obliterated by, like, the second quarter, but it was a hell of a good time.
Who was that guy that NIU had a few years back? He was like a quarterback. Everyone from NIU thought he was going to be the number 1 overall pick. And
no, I don't think that was ever true.
Jordan Lynch.
Jordan Lynch.
Yeah, isn't he like their coach now? Or he's some sort of
No, he
coach?
coaches a high school team.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. He's like Downers Grove football coach or something. But yeah,
I just remember when the Bears drafted Garrett Wolf and everybody was like super excited for that little midget man, and he didn't do shit in the NFL.
He was horrible, yeah.
I don't think do you feel like he got a chance with the Bears? Because I don't know if they did.
And he was pretty late. He was like a 6th rounder, so I don't think he.
I mean, he put up really good numbers against a fucking Ohio State team at Ohio State, but and he had guys from NIU blocking for him. So it's like I just don't know what they had. I mean.
But like the Bears had this dream that he was going to be Warwick Dunn, and like, and
that didn't happen.
he was obviously not. Like, I mean, like, I don't think any Bears fan saw that and thought, oh yeah, that's what he's going to be.
Yeah, our claim to fame is old Michael Turner and the running back.
Burner, yep, gotta love him.
Who is 108 thick now? He is 100% 108 thick.
Oh yeah, without question. All right, so
a lot of ass on that kid.
My second part of that question, because we all enjoyed ourselves a nice drink, was what was your drink of choice while in college?
Ooh.
Marijuana, I think. I mean, so I definitely drank a lot of High Life and a lot of vodka, but I'll tell you, I'll tell you about something I drank, which was just kind of funny, because at one point, I think it was my freshman year at DePaul, and we didn't have much to drink. You're 18, and I was in the city for college, so it's not like when you go away to college and there's always some way to get some beer or something. I had to deal with what I could get. So I remember I had a bottle of tequila, like some shitty like Cuervo or something, and me and my roommate, all we had to mix it with was Mountain Dew, and we were drinking Mountain Dew and tequila for like a week. It's fucking awful, in case you don't wondering.
Good Lord.
For me, I also went to school in the city. I went to a small college in River Forest. And so I worked in and around the city. And so usually it was like going on Thursday nights, whatever the dollar bottle was. And usually the dollar bottle at Hawkeyes or we used to go to Doc Ryan's out in Burbs. It was usually Rolling Rock. And so we ended up drinking a lot of Rolling Rock back in the day. And even when I think it was a Barstool tailgate, but it was like an 80s themed.
It was 90s weekend.
90s weekend at Sox Park. My Sox Summer brought a bunch of retro beers for us to drink, and Rolling Rock was my choice that day for the tailgate. It was delicious still.
Nice.
I had nice, flashbacks to those days of drinking that shit.
Yeah, that's when the 17 of 20-some-year-old kids all piled underneath a tent with the DJ, and you and I were standing out in white T-shirts drinking beers.
We're like, fuck.
That must have been a sight for sore eyes. You two.
It was a good time. It was the debut of the 108 T-shirt. I feel like too. We sold like 6 of them at the tailgate.
There you go.
It was a good one. We were primarily all Busch Light. That's
good call. We drank a lot of 30 racks of Busch Light in college.
Tons of Busch Light. And then even so much so that I don't think I drank a drop after college until I moved back to Illinois and then started drinking Busch Light again because everybody still drinks it. So long day on the river. You got to sit there and drink a couple beers. That's definitely the number one go-to. So Busch Light was our drink in college.
Have you guys ever had – I would drink a shit ton of Busch Light as well, and then all the Keystone Light, all that cheap beer. But then when we would have parties, so in Iowa, they had the 5% can refund. So we'd have people over, we'd collect all the cans, and then we'd go buy more beer with our proceeds, obviously. So when we would want to do something special, quote-unquote special with our money and get like something good to drink, we would go with Miller Chill. Have you guys ever tried that in the green bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my like special drink.
Wait, was it like Was it like was that the one that was like lime flavor? Was that the
So it was basically lime, but how I always describe it to people is you would take a Miller Lite and you take one of those tropical Starbursts and you drop it in a Miller Lite and drink it, and that's what it tasted like to me. So that was our specialty beer. It was Miller Chill.
We should see if we could track that down. The next time we can all be in the same place. But Steve,
I haven't seen it. I mean, I think out of college, when I was first out of college, they had it, but the last 5-7 years, I haven't seen it anywhere.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I bet Ken WO would like it.
Oh yeah, he definitely would.
Yeah, loves those BLLs, man. All right, so that was thing 2. This is thing 3. Question from our side. It's funny that you went down the booze angle because I'm going to go down a little food angle. This is a group right here, likes to eat a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been saving this question, and so I wanted to throw it out there, and I'll let you go first, champ. The question is, what's your go-to steakhouse appetizer? You're at a steakhouse.
Ooh.
What's going to be your appetizer that you're going to get coming on the table for you first? It could be something you share. It could be something that you're like, fuck it, this is what I want just for me. Whatever it is.
That's a great question. There's so many good options. Especially at a steakhouse, you can just pretty much get whatever you want. I know there's some things like if I go with my wife, we're gonna have to get like cream spinach and shit as your side. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but for me, a go-to appetizer is probably fried calamari. That's probably what I go with. I love calamari. I mean, anything fried is going to be great, but the calamari, because usually you're getting a steak at a steakhouse, so then you get your surf and turf. You get a little calamari for your little pre, and then you get the big ass fat steak at the end. So I'll go with fried calamari. That's a little lemon on the top, a little dip. Doesn't matter if it's marinara or some people like the cocktail sauce. Doesn't matter to me. I like it both. So yeah, I'll go fried calamari.
Oh, excellent choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on the seafood here. I'm gonna go shrimp cocktail.
Ooh,
I always like
good choice.
Like a nice shrimp cocktail because it's like you're saying, it's anti what you're about to get. You know, it's also it's not that filling, but it's delicious. So that's key. Because you don't want to get filled up. And then get to that.
You don't want to ruin the 35-ounce porterhouse you're about to get. You got to just save a little bit.
That's exactly right. Now, Teresi, you're usually a guy who likes things neat. Do you go with your shrimp cocktail neat, or do you get into the cocktail sauce?
It depends. It depends
on
the
take the tails off.
I typically, I only eat the tails.
He just eats the whole thing.
That's the best part.
That's where all the flavor is. Don't let them tell you different. No, I mean, sometimes it just looks very delicious and appetizing, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get in on that. But you know me, man. If I'm not feeling it, I'm 100% good with raw dogging it. I'm always a raw dog fan. So I'll just go just a straight up shrimp cocktail, no cocktail sauce.
I like the shrimp cocktail too. I like them to turn it up a little bit on the horseradish in the cocktail sauce.
Yeah, I agree. They never put enough in there. A little more, and then you got to stir it in. I agree. They should put a little more.
Yeah, they got to ramp it up a little bit. My son Summer, how about you, baby?
Man, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to do it. I'm going with Champ. Calamari is my go-to. If there is calamari anywhere near that appetizer menu, I'm ordering that. And that is the only time that I will eat that too. Because it's not something that you can go to your grocer's freezer aisle and pull out calamari and just eat it and it's good. It's not, and you can't. And I would say I also enjoy a good mozzarella stick, but it's another thing. It's just you don't want to eat at a steakhouse. I don't want to eat a mozzarella stick. I want to eat something good. Yeah. Something special.
You can eat a mozzarella stick at fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. You don't want to do that at a steakhouse.
Or at 3:00 in the morning up at Freddy's. It should not. The two should not be intertwined. So I'm going to stick high class, and I'm going to go with the calamari because that is by far the best appetizer to open up with at most any restaurant.
Now, you guys have basically hit some of the high points in my list. One thing I thought about the soup or salad angle. I sometimes I will go with a little French onion soup, but I don't think that's my number one here. But I like the cheese melted over the top and all that. Very enjoyable. And occasionally, I'm not much of a wedge guy, but occasionally I'll go caprese salad, or if I get a little burrata, I'll go a little burrata maybe. That's
both of those
tasty.
are great. We love burrata. Me and my wife are big burrata fans, and caprese salad too. It's nice. You can not only at a restaurant, but that's pretty easy to make at the house too. You just throw little things, couple items, and it's easy. It's good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the thing that's been taken over for me, that's just come out of nowhere in the last like 2 years for me as far as steakhouse appetizers is, everything's been getting like bacon on it. And now steakhouses are just like, fuck it. We're just going to make you a big, thick fucking piece of bacon, and that's your goddamn appetizer. And I was at Steak 48 like about 6 months ago, and pork belly for my appetizer. And I legit almost told them, forget the steak. Just bring me 3 more of these pork bellies, and that's it. And I'll drink my red wine, and that's all I'm going to have here. So for me right now, it's the spiciness, the saltiness, and then sometimes a place will go with like a candy bacon. And so you got the salty and the sweet in there. I'm switched over. I used to love all the stuff that you guys are talking about. I'm a bacon or pork belly guy now.
I mean, my mouth is literally watering right now just thinking about candied bacon or the pork belly. I mean, that's just something.
So, you know what they should do though? You know what some of these restaurants should do? And I've only seen this at the Aviary. The Aviary used to do this as like a little appetizer, like a little side dish where you're drinking their $40 drinks or whatever. When you go to like Cermak Produce and they got the big side of chicharron, just bring out to the table like just the big gigantic chicharron thrown in the middle of the table.
You just rip a piece off, like,
and just everyone fights over it for and like I feel like that would be like, because places do that shit for dessert. Like I forgot where we're at, where they brought out the big like gold cotton candy. It looked like Trump's hair.
I think it was RPM. We were at RPM, and they brought out all that shit.
Yeah.
And they probably charge you $35 for that head of cotton candy.
Yeah.
Just air. It's just like a piece of air, a little bit of sugar. Teresa, are you envisioning like the chicharron is big like in Flintstones when they put the ribs on the side of the car? Is that how big you're thinking? Or
exactly. It kind of tips the table a little bit. But it's
it flips the lowrider right over. You put it right on the lowrider and it falls over. Then bounces back up.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that. Chicharrones are phenomenal. So I think you just throw it right in the middle and just let everybody go after it. I think that'd be a great idea.
Snap off a little piece, got a little guacamole there. You can kind of, get yourself going. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
You put guac on chicharron?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you never done that?
I don't think I've ever done that either. That sounds
No.
wonderful.
And it's salty. It's salty too. So like the drink, you're gonna go through the drinks. They're gonna make some cocktails.
That's good for dates.
Right.
That's good for
rack
dates.
up, get that saltiness, and then I'll come serve you some alcohol. Go to the game afterwards, any game in Chicago, and I'll serve you. It'll be great.
It's somewhat sad, Champ, for a lot of reasons, but mostly because I wanted to see if you were going to leave your regulars and come over and become our regular guy this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that could definitely be a possibility if we ever get back into the stadium. You guys know I work on the other side, so sometimes it's hard for me. I'm primarily a left field bleacher, third baseline worker at White Sox, so sometimes it's hard for me to get over to your corner. I try a couple times a game to get over there. But when it's rolling, it's hard sometimes.
We understand.
The thing is now you
I
don't
love seeing your faces, of course. I always love going over there.
Champ, the thing is now you don't have that big, mean Brian Galkis intimidating you and keeping you out of our section.
That's a good point. BG is now in Nashville. I mean, he can stay there and enjoy his life there, and I'll take over the 108ers. It'll be perfect.
Well, Champ, thanks so much for joining us for Three Things. What a fucking blast. Look forward to seeing you whenever we can get our asses in the stadium. No high fives, though. Maybe we'll stick with the fist pump.
Yeah,
and,
like an
we'll
air.
some cold ones off you. A little air fist pump.
Fist pump? Yeah.
Not one of these. One of these.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm just trying to be certain.
And I'm so excited to record that little opening that you gave me and then insert that into my podcast. It's going to be great. Jerry and Dave are going to love that. I mean, I couldn't have gotten a better opening than that. So
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Champ, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Everybody, thank you.
All right.